please be careful, I'm impure. That's what the Metzora would declare. As described in Parashat Tazria, a person afflicted with some elements of leprosy needed to go outside of the camp. And when people were approaching, he would shout out, "Tameh, Tameh." Please be aware of the fact that I am impure. As the Torah says, "V'tameh, Tameh Yikra," that's what he must call out. The Gemara in Masechet Moed Katan Daf Hey Amud Aleph tells us that he shouted out Tameh, Tameh for two reasons. The first is that people passing by would be aware of his ailment. They would daven, they would pray for him. Secondly, they needed to be aware of the fact that they shouldn't come too close so that they themselves would not become Tameh. The Kotzker Rebbe brilliantly reads something deeper here. He places a comma in the middle of the statement. You see, the Torah says, "V'tameh tameh yikra," he must call out Tameh, Tameh. Rather, we should read, says the Kotzker Rebbe, "V'tameh, as for this person who's impure, Tameh yikra." His problem is that he calls out to others, "You are impure." You see, he doesn't attribute any weakness in character, any negativity to himself. His problem is that all the time he's complaining about the deficiencies of character of others. And that's why he becomes Tameh in the first place. The Gemara in Masechet Kiddushin, Daf Ayin Amud Aleph, says something that's really very perceptive. Kol haposel b'mumoh posel. There are many people who criticize others of weaknesses in their character, but actually, b'mumoh posel, they're talking about themselves. It's a classic example of projection. An elderly man once went to his doctor. He said to the doctor, "I think that my wife is going deaf." "So how serious is this?" asked the doctor. He said, "I don't know. She's just not hearing me." The doctor said, "Well, why don't you call out to her when her back is to you and tell me how close you have to come?" "Fine." So he was well behind her as she was standing in the living room, and he called out, "What's for supper tonight?" No answer. He came a few steps further. "What's for supper tonight?" No answer. Some steps closer. No answer, until eventually he stood behind her and asked, "What's for supper tonight?" This time she turned around and she shouted at him, "Fish and chips, as I've already told you 5 times. You see, she wasn't the one who had a problem with her hearing. He was the one. He thought that she was the problem, but he had the problem. And so too in life. Let us recognize that within the tense moments of some relationships, while sure enough there could be weaknesses on the other side, we should also ask ourselves, where have we possibly gone wrong? What mistakes might we have made? What words did perhaps we say out of turn? What can we practically now be doing in order to improve the situation without just relying on the others to do something about it? Let's learn that lesson of the Tameh Tameh Yikra. And if we had this approach to life, I guarantee you that this world would be a much better place. Shabbat Shalom.